Hi everybody. This is my third shot at this because I seem to not be able to do this as a short video, and I'm going to try again, and I'm committed. I'm opening this up with a picture of the North Mountain Visitor Center where I hiked this morning, and I'm doing that because I'm wearing a hat, and I'm wearing the hat because I have hat hair. And I am not taking the hat off because I haven't had time to do anything about that. So I figured if you had to see me in a hat, you could also have this beautiful picture that shows where I hiked. Having said that, that is not what we're doing here today. What we're doing here today is I want to walk you through your use of these two charts I've asked you to fill out. Our task this week is to basically write some job descriptions, and we're also going to fill out these two charts because writing job descriptions is just the beginning of preparing for your volunteers and making sure that you get the right volunteer that's going to fit the job. And knowing the things that we're going to fill out in these charts, thinking them through, is going to help you frame your message for your recruitment and do your interviews and make sure that the people that come in understand what you require and you understand what they are willing to do. So let's just dive in. I'm starting with the volunteer involvement framework, and you can see, by the way, I've recreated it in a Word document, and you can pull this down and type into it, whereas the other one was a PDF and you had to just handwrite. So we're going to use this, and it's now available to you to use as well. What we've got here are we've got four different windows. Hopefully I can get these windows all on here. And I'm going to use the horizontal. This is just ridiculous, sorry. It's no wonder this takes me so long. All right, we're going to use the horizontal ideas first, elements first, and then we will use the vertical ones. So up here you see horizontally what they call affiliate focus. What that means is they want to be affiliated with your organization, what that means is those people care about your cause, okay? So I put cause in parentheses to help you. The other one is a skill focus. These are people who have skills. They're CPAs, or they're good bookkeepers, or they have good math skills, or maybe they are musicians, or whatever their skills are. They're looking for a place to use them to do good. So they might actually be willing to use them at more than just your cause. They might, like I'm sure you care about more than one cause. I care about more than one cause. These are people who want to bring their skills to a particular cause. Okay, so now let's look at these I can't believe I did this. To these vertical ideas. And one is episodic and the other is long-term. Episodic work is work that happens once in a while. A very good example, common example of that is fundraisers. Maybe your organization has a fundraiser in the spring and maybe a golf tournament, and then they have another fundraiser in the winter, some kind of holiday party, and you just need bodies. You need people to sell raffle tickets, and you need people to go out and find stuff for your auction, and you need people to sit at the tables when people show up and register that they are there and give them their card that says which table they sit at inside the event, and whatever else people do at fundraisers. So those things happen only once in a while, and it doesn't matter if you get the same group of people who worked in the spring event to show up at your fall event, and it doesn't matter if the people who volunteered last year are the same people who volunteer this year. Not that you don't try to keep these people coming back, you do, but it doesn't matter so much because they don't need any skills, you just need bodies, right? So by comparison, long-term jobs are jobs where you absolutely need the volunteer to commit to come in over and over and over again, or to do their job over again. Bigs for Big Brothers and Big Sisters is a perfect example. You need people who are willing to hang in there with that relationship with that kid, and that is the expectation that you have of them and that they have of the job. They can't just do it for 6 months. They've got to know that this is, could be years actually. Reading tutors, kind of the same thing, or math tutors for that matter. And you see over here I've got reading tutors, and over here I've got math tutors, and we'll talk about why I put tutors in 2 different places in a minute. But you want those tutors to come in because you want them to have a relationship with the students, and you want the students to be comfortable. You don't want to have them have to get used to a new adult every single week. Plus, not to mention, when you have people who are going to work with kids, you've got to screen them, probably have them get fingerprints. It's like way too much to have a ton of different people. You want people committed to the long term, right? Okay, so what you need to do this week is be building jobs for your volunteers. Once you have built out the job description, you're going to come over here and place the jobs that you've built out into this chart. Are they people that don't need skills? And is the function something that is happening once in a while, episodic, or is it a long-term thing? So here we've got Bigs, Big Brother and Big Sister. I mean, they have to like kids, but that's not really a skill so much. And they have to be willing to work with, the tutors have to be willing to work with kids and have at least some minimal experience working with kids, but they're not really skill focused. Let's take a look at what we've got going in our skills focus. We've got a monthly dental clinic, and we need dentists and dental hygienists. Now why, since it's monthly, have I put it in episodic? Well, I've put it in episodic because let's say you have one every month of the year. You do not have to have the same dentist show up every month. Maybe a dentist is willing to do it once or twice a year, and maybe you have a list of 20 dentists and you send out a calendar and you ask them all to sign up for the months that they are willing to work, and you tell them you need, 2 or 3 dentists a month and to just sign up. And so some people will sign up for once a year. And some people might sign up for 3 times a year. But it's episodic for them, even though the clinic happens monthly. Another thing about this is it shows you that you're going to have to recruit these people from someplace where dentists hang out. Probably there's a professional association for dentists and also for hygienists, and that's where you'll have to recruit. Compare that to where you're going to recruit bodies. You can go to Changemaker Central and get a bunch of students. You can go to Hands-On Phoenix and get a bunch of people who are interested by posting there. You can do scattered social media, generic on Facebook or something, and maybe draw some people. Or you can even go set up a booth at a farmer's market or a festival and just get people that way. That is not possible with these specialized skill people. So that's another reason to look at them like this. All right, so now let's talk about something like I've got homeless food servers. It's like my synagogue group goes every Christmas during that Christmas break, and we sign up for a day and we go in and we bring food and we serve it. That is episodic, and we don't need any skills. We just need a willingness to gather food and bring it. Okay, so now let's talk about this website. You'll notice under skills, I've got a website build out and ongoing management versus just a website build out, rebuild. So it's the same skill set, right? But in one case, maybe you've got somebody in-house that can, fix broken links or whatever occasionally. But what you really need is a website designer who can come in and completely rebuild your website and then teach your internal person anything they need to know. That is discrete. That task may take a long time, but it's actually quite discrete. And once it's done, you don't need them anymore and they can go away. So it's a long task, but it's a one-time task. So you put it in this discrete, and it's skilled, so it belongs in this quadrant. Down here, what you've got is you want somebody to not only build out your website, but you want them to go on and be your web manager. It's the same set of skills maybe, but it's a long-term task, so you put it down here. All right, so when you get done doing your job descriptions, come in, figure out where these people go, and know why. Now let's go look at the second chart. I'm already at 10 minutes here, but I'm still shorter than the last one, so we're just gonna hop it along. Okay, so I have taken one job description and I have written it up and I'm going to describe it to you. You are going to fill this out for all the job descriptions that you create this week. All right, so the idea is that the organization needs to improve their website. Okay, so that's what's going on over here. All right, so get a little bigger so you can see it. Obviously, you're not going to type this big, but I want you to be able to see it. So you're asking yourself, the first question you ask yourself, oh, wait a minute, why do we do this? We do this because this is going to tell you what you have to do to prepare your organization to successfully engage your volunteer. If you don't do all this stuff, then your volunteer's experience is going to be bad and you're not going to get the best result for your organization either. So this helps you think through what you need to be prepared to do for this particular volunteer job. So here they need to improve their website. All right, they decided it's a high priority. I decided that because I made this up. But I think website's a high priority because a lot of people who come to your organization, that is their first exposure and first impressions are important. Does this role need supervision? No, it really doesn't. This is somebody that's highly skilled, and once you tell them everything that you want in your website and what you don't like about your own, and other things that you like, or websites you've seen that you thought were great that you'd like something similar, they go off and they don't need supervision. They come with the skill set, right? All right, but what about, do we need volunteer with special skills? Yes, we know that we do. We need somebody that has good web design skills. Okay, so are they going to require training or preparation? Well, these people aren't going to require training, but they are going to require that you and your staff get prepared before they show up. Like, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that this website hasn't been revised for 5 years and you've actually started new programs, and also some of your programs have morphed. So you need each of your program managers to write up content for that new web page that this guy or gal is going to build for you, and find pictures and whatever else they're going to need. Also, you probably need to review all the information that is currently on your website and figure out what if it's old, what needs to be rewritten, what else do you want to put on the website? Do you want to organize it differently? Maybe you have all your programs on one tab for the last 5 years. Maybe these programs are so unique that you're willing to have a tab for each of the programs because there's a lot going on now. Whatever. Maybe you want, before you get this person there, to look at a lot of other nonprofit websites and get examples of what you think is really well done and gives the same feel you want for your own organization, so that you can show these to the web designer when they show up. Okay, the next category here is staff time. Staff and time. What kind of staff are you going to need and what kind of time are they going to have to put in? And let's say that you need somebody to be a point person that is the go-between between your organization and your program managers and staff and executive, and that web designer, somebody so that the web designer doesn't have to make 100 different phone calls and figure out who has what info, somebody who's going to be their contact person. Okay, and that person is also going to have to orient and give your volunteer web designer an education about what you're doing in your organization. They can't design a website for you unless they know all about your organization. Okay, there might be other things that this person has to do, but this is what I came up with off the top of my head. Is this going to be easy to implement or hard? Well, you can see from what you have to do in preparation, it may not be hard, but it's going to take up people's time. And then the last category is notes. So these are just notes. What are you going to have to do this well? Well, maybe you're going to have to bring this whole thing up at a staff meeting and get people ready to do this as an organizational project and get their input on what they would like to see in the website and what their ideas are. And also prep them for the coming tasks that they need to look at the website and figure out what else and what new and what different they want than what is already up there about the work they're doing. And the other thing you may have to do is you may need to work with the web designer to figure out whether your current web server and your current, maybe you have a WordPress website right now, and maybe that's not going to be sophisticated enough. Maybe you want to add some fundraising stuff and you're not sure which fundraising program will work with WordPress if you're going to keep WordPress, some kind of an app that. And you may need to think about, what does it need? It needs to keep membership lists. It needs to maybe have a place where you can go and sell event tickets online, whatever. So maybe you've got a lot of stuff that you're going to have to look into or ask the web designer to help you look into. Anyway, all this stuff is what's going to have to happen for you to actually utilize that volunteer web designer well. And you can see that there's a lot of work before you even bring this person in that has to go on in your organization. For every single one of the roles that you have, you need to fill out one of the rows. And the reason that you want to do that is because each of these volunteer positions is going to take time and resources, and you're going to have to think about what training, who's going to train, who's going to supervise, all this kind of stuff in order to really make sure that you have the resources and everything you need to maximize the effectiveness of that volunteer. Okay, I'm under 20 minutes. That's good because first time when I got to this chart, I was already at 20 minutes. I'm going to say goodnight now. Hopefully you guys can understand what I'm talking about here, but if you don't, please put your conversation or your questions on the hallway conversation on the discussion board, because goodness knows if you have a question, somebody else has the same question. I will see you on the boards.